There she is. What's cranking, wieners? Welcome back to Camp Claude. It's good to see you guys. We are up here still in Maine. This is actually one of our last days up here before we head back to Texas. If you guys are watching this video now, this is probably in between a lot of other content I've been filming. I have been filming so much and not editing, and I've just been working myself silly, and that's one of the reasons why I think I've got a cold right now. I still figured I'd come out here and film a video for you. A lot of people were asking and wondering, when did I get a new boat? We don't know this one. We're not familiar with this rig that is behind me right now, and that's exactly why I'm filming today's video. I'm gonna introduce you guys to the new Lunsky, the new Red Rocket. I kind of like that name. This one in particular, I'm really excited to share with you guys because it's unlike any boat that I have ever owned, let alone I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen. If you live up in the northern woods like myself, if you grew up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, you probably know all about this type of boat. But for some of you southern folk, this boat is probably kind of weird, and my hopes is to explain to you guys why I bought a boat like this. Before we get this one kicked off, I gotta thank the people over at Lund for sponsoring this channel. I did happen to purchase this boat by myself. This is not a loaner boat like the Lund back home, but I love these boats so much that I literally ordered this all the way from Nebraska, had it shipped here to Maine so I could have a new rig. Also, too, I completely forgot, the White Slow is no longer. Becca actually owns that boat now, and she's using it to film her videos. I'm passing it down to a much more responsible owner. But if you're interested in learning the new boat that is gonna be staying up here at Camp Claw, then keep watching. And later in today's video, I'm gonna catch some fish off this thing and show you how I like to use this. So let's break this thing down. There's a lot going on. Let's start from the front and work our way to the booty of the boat. That's actually not the correct terminology for the back of the boat. I think it's the stern, but I like calling it the booty. It makes more sense. So the nose of the boat, the bow. What we have up front is a Minn Kota Ultrax. This is a 50-inch shaft. Pretty big, I know. Size does sometimes matter. But the reason why I went with a 50-inch shaft opposed to like a 45 is so that I could effectively use my motor. A 45 would kind of dangle out, and when we borrowed the Troy motor off of the Low, which was a 45-inch shaft, it barely really sat in the water right. Like if there's too many people in the back of the boat, the trolling motor head would be spinning in the air. So before this motor, I actually had an Altera, which I thought I would like, but it didn't really go well with the graph setup that I have here. I generally run Panoptics on the front of my boat, so it really didn't make sense with that. This is a much better trolling motor. Believe it or not, this is the third trolling motor on this boat, and I've owned this thing for less than 2 months. 80-pound thrust. This is a sweet little deal. An 80-pound thrust will push this boat no problem. No need for a 112. Onwards, let's step inside the rig. Oh, I should probably tell you what this thing is before we get into it. It's a Lund Pro Guide. See, it says right there, Lund Pro Guide, because I am a professional angler, and it's the size is an 18.75, which means it's almost a 9-foot boat. It's almost a 19-foot boat with the skeg in the air. It probably is about 19 feet, but it's a big rig. I actually wanted a 17.75, which is a little bit smaller, but they didn't have any. This was legitimately the last Lund in inventory for sale that I could find in the United States. I searched everywhere, and I'm convinced I bought the last one that there is before Lund starts their production. The whole Rona deal has really messed up the boat production line, but it really hasn't slowed down the demand. So people are buying boats, but companies aren't making them. And it's not just Lund too, it's a lot of other companies. But I have heard later in the year that they're gonna start pumping out some more boats. But this is the last like 2020 model, I believe, that they had in the United States. That's why I bought it in Nebraska. You're probably wondering, why the hell did you go to Nebraska to buy it? And now you know. Let's hop in the Pro Guide, or I guess in this case it's the Amateur Guide, because I own it. There we go. Look at all the room for activities. This is one of the reasons why I bought this boat. Now you might be able to tell there's no console, there's no steering wheel. You're thinking to yourself, what, how do you control the boat? It's not with my mind, I'm not telepathic. The means of controlling the outboard motor are right here with the tiller. This is called a tiller handle. And you basically just use it as if it was like a little John boat. I don't see this genre of boat too much in the South, but I think it'd be cool if more people use them because it opens up so much space. I can fit 6 people in here legally, which is incredible for an 18-foot boat. But this is how I control. I've got my reverse, neutral, and forward. And the throttle is like this right here. You just twist. You twist to the left, and then she toots, she goes. I can get this thing probably up to like 35 on a good day, maybe 38 if I'm really lucky and I've got no gas in my tank. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why you don't see a console in this boat, is because all the magic happens back there. Let's continue in the front of the boat. I got a little sidetracked there. This is what I have as far as graphs goes. This is a 12-inch Echo Map. This is a Garmin unit. It's compatible with Panoptics. I've been a huge advocate for Panoptics. I think it's borderline cheating, but I love it and I don't care. It's amazing. With that graph and that little transducer, I can watch fish eat my lure in real time. It is mind bending. It's very similar to ice fishing because that's how I ice fish. I use the flasher, but in this case, it's very expensive, high-tech alien equipment. I'm seriously convinced that the Martians gave us this technology because there's no way humans were able to create something so beautiful. Again, not sponsored or affiliated with Garmin, but kudos to you folks. This thing is sick. I had, yeah, so I've got the 12-inch. It sits raised too, which is really nice. I don't have to break my neck when I'm looking at the graph. And believe me, if you are a Panoptics user and you just stare at the graph all day, your neck is like permanently stuck like this because you're looking down at the electronics and not really what's going on in front of you. I've also hit a lot of docks and gone into shallow water with the Garmin because I'm so glued to the graph. Anyway, let's not get sidetracked here. This is my foot pedal. It's a raised foot pedal, so I had to get this recessed cavity installed. This is not something that came with the boat. So now I can put this in here all flush-like, and it fits very seamless with the deck of the boat. Again, I had the Altera originally installed on here, so it was a flat foot pedal. It made more sense for this boat, but I didn't like it as much as I thought I did. That was actually one of my first trolling motors I had on the old low, the 1675, but I wanted to go with the Ultrex. The Ultrex is danky, it's lit. Is that what kids say? I don't know. Anyway, there you have it, the front. We've got the trolling motor, transducer, graph, foot pedal, and it actually fits really nice in here. This is the same kind of foot pedal you use for bass boats, and I haven't screwed this down only because I get a lot of dirt and grime in here in this cavity, so I want to be able to take this out and clean it whenever I can. Moving on to the compartments. Let's open these jimmies up. There we go. And there's two. So as you can see, one compartment is a little bit bigger than the other. On the left side of my boat, I keep my deep cranks, miscellaneous items. I've got some towels in there in case it gets a little bit soggy. I've got like some swim baits on the left side as well. I haven't really dedicated anything specifically to this compartment, but there's so much room. I could literally crawl into that compartment right now and you could close it on me. I've tried it in my other Lund and it works. On the right side of my deck, this is where I keep all my Guggen soft plastics. I've got my Bandito bugs, my Neds, my Dragon drops. A lot of the bass fishing I do up here is finessey, so I don't have a whole lot of big worms in here, not a whole lot of trench hogs. I've got some small ones, but normally what I'm throwing as far as soft plastics goes, it's like tiny stuff, like the juniors, the junior Kraken craw, the junior Bandito bug, and my personal favorite, of course, is the rattling Ned, which I've caught so many big fish this season. I'm gonna actually use it later in this video and you guys can see how I catch them. But yeah, that's pretty much it. There's the front deck. Also, very unique compartment right here. When I first bought the boat, I'm like, what the hell is this for? Is it a cooler? And I later found out it's actually an extra live well. This boat comes with, wow, actually now I'm thinking about it, this boat comes with 3 live wells. Take a look at this. So here's the other compartment, which makes this a little bit smaller. Right now, it's not being used for anything productive. I've got empty cans in there and things of that nature. This thing can also be converted to a party barge, as you can see. But yeah, this is actually a live well. You can put small fish in there. If you're fishing a derb, or if you're a big derby guy like myself, you can put all your squeaky fish in there and then keep your big fish separate in the back live well, which is super nice because I don't like cramming a bunch of fish in one box. I don't think it's good for them, and it's a little bit easier to manage, you know, your culling if you do happen to cull, which I always do because I'm such a professional angler. I'm always culling the little ones, putting only 5-pounders in this boat. So yeah, there's the 3 compartments right there. This is cool. Take a look at this. Over here, we've got my tackle tray storage. This is where I keep like my 3800 size like Bass Mafia boxes, and I keep anything ranging from jigs to cranks to swim baits to like terminal tackle in these compartments, and there's 2 of them. Originally when I saw this boat, I'm like, that's not enough space. I like way more tackle, but it really is. You can fit 4 in each side, so I can fit 8 total in here, and even the bigger boxes fit nicely. But what's cool about this boat is it's got little dividers, little like bungee dividers, which you can remove and then put back on depending on what size boxes you're using, which I think is cool. I know Lund is a huge sponsor on this channel, but I have to be completely truthful with you guys. The things that Lund do to their boats are just very unique. I actually dig it. It's kind of think outside the box mentality. Really stoked on these little compartments. I love them. I'm always up in there changing baits because, you know, I'm steady on a hot bite. If you guys can't get the gist yet, I'm being completely sarcastic. There's those compartments. Next to the compartments, we've got some kicker speakers. This thing bumps. I've got 2 speakers in this boat, which is so sick because when the bite is slow, which, you know, it rarely is, or if we're ripping down the lake early in the morning, I like to play some, you know, Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, all my favorites, really, all the classics. Those are nice for downtimes, or if we're just out here hanging, kicking, not necessarily filming a video, the speakers get a lot of views. Okay, I know what to talk about next. Let's address the elephant in the room, and that is these little crane looking things to either side of me. These are Downriggers. Again, a lot of you guys are probably familiar with these. A lot of you probably aren't. I got these installed after receiving the boat. They didn't come with the rig. These are Canon Magnum 10 downriggers, or electric downriggers. So I can send virtually any bait to, like, I think the limit is like maybe a couple hundred feet, like 300 feet. And these jimmies right here are actually meant for trolling. Slow trolling, fast trolling. A lot of what people do up here in Maine is slow trolling for big lake trout. There's an airplane. But these are nice for if we aren't bass fishing. If we're going for some salmon, some lake trout, maybe some brookies, I can get all the way down to 100 feet where those fish like to hang in the warmer months, like right now, and I can catch them. Unfortunately, I've not had much success with these. This is something that's, you know, I need to learn. I need to actually put in the time and effort. An airplane, God bless it. There's actually a little dial in here to tell you how deep you are as well. And if I need to crank them up, it's all right here. It's a little electric switch, and I just crank it up and the thing shoots up off the bottom. It's very complex. I don't have enough time to go into it. I really don't know that much about it. I still need to learn how to troll, but these things are gonna help me learn, and it's probably the bougiest way you can troll, if I'm being completely honest. I got a lot of comments, some folks saying that they probably didn't think putting the downriggers in the front was a good idea because the wire was gonna scratch my boat, but I have been using them quite a bit with fast and slow trolling, and they work good. And the reason why I have these things installed in the front is so that when I'm on the tiller back there, I can watch my rods go off. So that was actually a suggestion by the dude whose name's Kyle, who rigged this boat up. And he's like, yeah, just put them in the front. I'm like, didn't think about that, but that's actually a good idea. So they kind of get in the way, but they make more sense for when a rod goes off and I need to grab a fish that's on the end of my line. But yeah, there you have it, downriggers. The other cool thing about this boat is they come with little like mesh pockets. And I stick like, you know, chartreuse dye in here, red dye in here, some garlic scent. Did I just spill some on me? No, we're good. My fluorocarbon leader in here as well. So, you know, anytime I need to grab line real quick or grab some scent or maybe some soft plastics, I can just boop, grab them right there. And the baits stay snug in there at all times, even when I'm trailering the boat or if I'm going a cool 30 down the lake. I like this a lot. I've never had this kind of accessory in a boat, and I love it. I don't know why more boats don't come with it. There's actually a couple. There's 3 right there, or it's 2 right there, and then there's a 3rd one right here. I keep my bug spray in here, repel, because it gets buggy as hell in Maine. I keep my trolling motor remote right here. I got pliers, I got a scale, all that good stuff. So anything I need to grab on the run, I can do so with ease and really quickly. It makes a huge difference, honestly. I'm a bit of a skits on the water, so having everything right there at my fingertips it's vital. Nothing too insane, but I've got my tools right there. I've actually installed this little Rapella tool holder, which is nice because, you know, a lot of the fish that we're catching, oftentimes the fish that we are catching have big teeth. So having some big hardware right here is key. Scissors, I don't know why I've got a big swim bait there, but it's there. And yeah, there's my tools. Let's talk about what's in the middle compartment of the deck. This is where the rod storage is at. Keep all my Guggen twigs right here. I have to admit, the rod storage is not as big as I had hoped, and it's definitely not as big as the Lund that I have back in Texas, which is not a big deal, but I can only probably fit, I'm assuming most of you guys are about to roll your eyes, but I could only probably fit like maybe 10 rods, whereas my boat in Texas can probably fit like 20. So it's a shallow rod locker, but it's enough to fit a couple of sticks. I can't fit anything over like, I think 7'6" in here, but I do have a bigger rod compartment to my right. So this boat comes with like 2 of everything. It's so funny. This compartment over here, which is kind of a unique compartment, has 2 or actually 4 rod slots, and I can fit like a 9-foot rod in here, which is cool because the rods that I troll with are 8'6", and the musky rods that I use are anywhere from like 8'2" to 8'6" as well, or you know, an 8 foot. So I can fit musky rods and trolling rods in this side rod compartment. So it's not the end of the world. I can fit like most of my bass gear right there, and then anything that is like multi-species I can throw in here. I also keep my my life vests in this compartment as well. So much room for activities. I know I said it once, I'll say it again. This boat's got space, but yeah, that's pretty cool. What else should I share with you? Oh, spinning over here, we've got our second graph. This is the graph that I actually look at a lot if I'm trying to find a rock pile, brush pile. Not a whole lot of brush or standing timber in Maine because the lakes here are fairly natural glacier lakes. So it's mostly rocks, sand, vegetation. So this graph tells me, you know, if I'm gonna pull up to shallow water, if there's a hump. I've got a side scan unit so I can, you know, read what's over there, and I can read what's over there about 50, 60 feet. This graph is massive, literally and metaphorically speaking. I use it all the time. It's the same graph that you see up front. What else? Oh, gauge cluster. Let's talk about the gauge cluster. We don't have too many gauges here. I don't know why, but it didn't come with like like a tachometer or a speedometer. It just came with a fuel tank gauge, which is strange, but I've got USB ports right there, my head unit for my kickers. But you've got, you know, like master power, live over circulation, nav lights, and you got horn too, of course. Nice. And then you've got the interior lights too. This does have a couple interior lights, and that's great for rigging up rods late at night or early in the morning. This boat actually comes with drawers too, which is pretty sick. It's a garage sale, but you can kind of get the gist where I keep most of my stuff. I keep my terminal tackle back here too, because this is where I like to rig my rods. So I keep like my drop shots, my Ned heads, my EWG hooks, my, you know, heavy hammer hooks, all right there. Got a few spare reels too. Some sun sauce because I've got pasty white skin and I burn easily. In this lower compartment, I keep my graphs when I'm not using them. As you can see, I've labeled this one back, so I can keep all my back waypoints back here, and then my front ones up there. I also keep some dookie wipes in my drawer because, you know, duty sometimes calls in the most unexpected, unideal moments. And I'll admit, I have taken plenty of aqua dumps, and I'm not proud of it, but there's times where I've literally almost my pants. So yeah, that's where I keep my poop wipes. And I also have a spare sun sauce because if I hadn't said it before, I am albino practically, and I need, otherwise I'll burn, I'll peel, and I'll be very uncomfortable in the shower the next morning. TMI, John. Anyway, right over here, we got another storage compartment. I keep my line, jerk baits. Some of my trolling gear is over here as well. Like, you know, more clips, more trolling clips, extra hooks, little spoons, big spoons, medium-sized spoons, medium spoons. Shaky heads are back there. Extra EWG hooks are back there. Just the good stuff, you know. Just note that everywhere you look in this boat, there's gonna be like a compartment or something, or some place to put something. Like, for example, here's a compartment that I don't even use. Literally don't even use this. This is completely empty. Look at that. I've got my fuses back in there. So if I blow a fuse, I can easily access them and change the fuses out. Every boat should have an easily accessible fuse unit. Oh, let's talk about the third live well. Okay, or I guess the second one. I haven't talked about the last one yet. This little thing is freaking hilarious. I love this. This is my bait well. I can keep minnows, leeches, craws in this little compartment right here, and it's at the front of the deck. Genius design, something I'll probably never really use because I don't fish with live bait that much. But if we do go on like a lake trout mission or fish after something that's a little bit more difficult, that will definitely get some use. And it's cool that it's integrated to the front deck of the boat, because you don't want to have to grab some bait all the way back here. You know, it's a long haul. Grab your leech and then come all the way to the front, hook it up, and then drop it on a 15-pound Laker's head. That's the second live well. So you've got one live well right there, another one right there, and then back there is the big live well. Bada bing, bada bing, bada bing. This back here is a little hairy, if I'm being honest, because the tiller is back here and it kind of gets in the way of the live well. But it opens up in two compartments. As you can see, there's like two lids. There's this one, and then there's this one. There's actually a bucket that goes right there for more live bait. This boat was probably designed for walleye anglers. Even though I'm a smallmouth angler, I love it. So it's really designed for guys who like to use live bait, apparently. But this is where I keep my bass if I'm fishing a tournament, which we've fished, I think, 2 this season up here in Maine. It's a huge live well. You could fit some absolute monster fish, which is good because I'm always catching giants. There's actually a little light in there too, so if it's super bright and breezy in the morning, you can turn that light on and it illuminates what's in your box, which is so nice as well. Also keep my cull tags back here too. Really like these cull tags. They don't do too much damage to the fish, or actually any damage at all. And I hang them on my little bait net. It's so funny. So that's the third live well in the boat. Boring stuff, but here's a little compartment for more accessories. I keep extra live well in here, like some live well juice, just like random tools that I'll need. I also keep my downrigger balls in here. My downrigger nut, they should call them nuts. I keep my downrigger nuts back here. Weigh-in bag, which is now broken. But yeah, all that cool stuff. This right here is the dungeon. It's where Peric's been for the past couple of years. Oh wait, no, just kidding. This is where I keep my batteries. Green battery is my starter battery. This big lithium right here runs this graph and then that graph up there. In total, I've got 4 batteries in this boat. 2 of which are lithium and they run the trolling motor. One of the other ones is also lithium. It runs the graphs, and then the green one starts my motor and then runs all my boating accessories. I find that I'm like literally never running out of battery. I can fish all day, put the boat in the barn, then hook it back up and fish again without even charging it. And I can do that for probably 2.5 days before I noticed that the battery's starting to die. But that's cool. I would highly suggest, lithium is so expensive these days, I think it'll go down in price, but if you can get your hands on a lithium battery, buy it and install it in your boat. They make a world of difference. I didn't think they were that big of a deal, but they're light and they hold charge like no other. Okay, let's talk about some other stuff with this boat. I'm not sure if you guys care, but I'll go through it. Trailer is a Shorelander, I think. It's a dual axle, which means I've got 4 tires. Having a dual axle trailer up here in the north woods of Maine, when we're sending it like 5 hours north, where there's no cell service, where there's no mechanics to be seen for miles, it's nice to have an extra set of wheels. So in other words, if I blow one of these tires, I could basically limp back home, back here in Camp Claw, and change it out if I, you know, for whatever reason, like if worst case scenario, I'm not totally screwed if one of these blows. Probably should have used a better choice of words. If one of these pops or explodes or something like that. If I get a nail, you know, if I hit a moose or something like that and I lose a tire, I'm not totally screwed. I've got a couple extra ones. So that's also something else I suggest. If you live up in very remote areas, I would definitely get a trailer with tandem axles, 4 wheels, because it'll save you. It really will, and it has saved me in the past when I've blown some tires and I've had to limp home. The motor, the engine, this is a Mercury 4-stroke, 90 horse. Honestly, I feel like this boat is a little underpowered. You'd think they'd at least put like a 150 on the back, but also I realized the weight distribution of this boat is probably pretty ridiculous, with most of the weight being back here and not so much at the bow. So it makes sense why there's a 90 on here. Like I said, I could get up to like 30, 35 with no problem, but that is with the hand all the way to the floor. Pedal to the floor, hand all the way to the... Trailer's also got roller guards too, so if I'm being clumsy or not paying attention, I can put the boat in the trailer and, you know, be totally fine. Other than that, there's not much else that I can go over about this boat. This next segment in the video, I'm just gonna basically take you guys out on the rig, show you guys how I use this boat to catch smallmouth up here in Maine. And yeah, I appreciate the view. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you wanna know more about Lund and their boats, check the link down below. I'll leave their website and you can build your own boat. Well, that about does it. We've gone over the front end to the booty end of the new Lund. I'm super excited to inaugurate this boat. Pretty stoked on this thing. Hopefully we'll catch more fish. I still want to catch a lake trout out of this thing. We've caught muskie, we've caught smallmouth, largemouth, perch, white perch, all different types of species, pike as well. But there's so many other ones I want to tick off, and this boat is truly built for the north, and I'm so excited to use this thing this year and also next. If you guys want to learn more about Lund and their rigs and why they're so special, check the link down in my description below, and you can even go on their website and build your future dream boat. That's exactly what I did with this, and here she is in fruition, in the blood and the flesh. Anyway, I'm so sick. I need to go inside, blow my nose. But this next segment of the video, we're gonna take the old Lenski out, and I'm gonna show you guys how we crank on some smallmouth, northern Maine style. Thank you guys for the view, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Let's go get him, Lucky. Next spot, next spot. You're good, keep going. I was talking to myself. Okay, so we just fished a river, now we're fishing a lake. Yeah, you're all good. Just fished the river, now we traveled about an hour south to fish a lake, a much cleaner lake, bigger smallmouth, even though I was told that the river has big smallmouth, but this I know for a fact has some units, some fish that are quite literally built different. And Grant has yet to catch a nice smallmouth, and that's my goal. I get more enjoyment in watching other people catch fish opposed to myself, and as cliche as that sounds, it's honestly the truth. Find it, please find it. Oh yeah, he sees it. He just ate it. Good one. Good one. See why we went here instead of anywhere else? God, there's some good fish in this lake. That was cool. That was really disgusting. Spitting up craws. I've literally never fished here for more than like 3 hours. Yeah. God, dude, these big ones are so freaking green. I love it. Throwing a Ned, a rattling Ned on a drop shot. Dude, this is a big one. This is not bad at all. Oh, he spit up half of his weight in the water though. Dude, look at what he's eating. This is what that fish was spitting up. Oh, nice fish. That's 3 all day. He was an 11 foot, about 11 foot. Nice bass. Yes! I needed that, man. Yeah, the only problem is they're not really filled out this time of year. They're just long. If you get like a 4, it's like a 5 probably in the spring. Fish on. Fish on. Decent one. I don't know if it's huge, but it's a fish. There's a big rocky point out there. Just toss it. That was on the drop. Yeah, that's a good one.
Big gun, bro. Woo! Come here, Bubba. Number 5.
Oh, another crawl you just spit up. Not a bad one.
I love it. Gots to love it, mate. Oi, mate, you just gotta love it. Number 5.
There he is. There you go. There he is. Saw him too. He was on the end of that point. Or onto the end of the hump. Don't do that. Yeah, it's a good one. These ones are all gonna be pretty good out here. No, he's alright. Better than what we were catching, that's for sure. Sucked it down too. Oh, that's not good. Absolutely sucked it down. Thank you. Oh, barely hooked though. Lord. Nice one. Alright. Dude. I feel like I got a rock. Nice fish. Woo-hoo. We got some meat in the box now, buddy. Alright, we're almost 5. We almost have 5. You want to throw it directly or me?
Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate the view. Be sure to give this one a like, subscribe, and drop a comment. I always love reading what you guys have to say, even if it's completely out of left field and totally random. But I'm peacing out, signing out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. As always, folks, keep fishing. Never stop.